but absolutely fantastic. It's really, really heady. It's almost like drinking a steak. It's really nice. Okay, so that's the second one. Now, the third one itself is a Brunello di Montalcino, but it's a reserve, right?
Yes. The name is the Poggio Loro.
And that's the
It's the name of the vineyard.
The name of the vineyard itself.
Yes, because this is a single vineyard wine. In the last 10 years, we produce only 5 times.
So out of 10 years, you'll
Yes.
only get 5 actual
Yes.
vintages that can be called reserves. It's
Yes.
actually, that's the reason when you go to a wine store, an Italian Brunello di Montalcino reserve is actually quite expensive. It's a pretty...
In the States, it's around 150, 200 bucks.
I'm having a good time today, you know what I'm saying? That's actually... You know when you go out and you have that last glass of wine? Oh. Anyway, I've just traveled an hour south of Montalcino to this great little farmhouse, and it's called Agriturismo. And it's a great alternative to a hotel if you're in Italy. And Italy is littered with these things. They're all over the place. And basically, it's a little farm that lets rooms. And they make olive oil and they make wine. I don't want any more wine, but maybe a little peace and quiet would be nice, huh? I'm going to bed. So this is what a room looks like in an Agriturismo. It's a farmhouse, so the accommodations aren't quite as luxe, but for $95 a night, with breakfast and dinner included, and a view of the Tuscan hills like that. What else you want? If you stay in an Agriturismo, there's always an opportunity to get your hands dirty. This is Lorenzo. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hello.
He owns an Agriturismo, and he also owns an olive grove at the top of the hill. He's dragging me out of bed to take me on an olive harvest. Is that right?
Yes, I'll show you everything.
On a working farm, there's no such thing as a free ride. Isn't that right, Poochie? Every October is olive picking season on Lorenzo's farm. A lot of the harvesting is done by hand, but to reach the olives at the top of the trees, Lorenzo uses this machine called Il Picchio. Each tree produces just under a gallon of fresh olive oil. So how long have you had this olive farm?
11 years.
11 years, really?
11 years.
That's a lot of olive oil, huh?
That's a lot of years, and we're still learning.
So it's a lot of work to really get a small amount of oil.
A lot of work to get a small amount of good oil. That's what we mustn't forget.
Only the best. That's right. Now let me ask you a question, because generally people, I think they have a misconception about olives, right? Because they would think that you would get green olive oil out of a green olive, not a black olive.
No, the outside color of the olive depends on the type of tree.
Okay.
Some turn black and some stays green.
So there, I mean, obviously...
Don't ask me the reason, because I wouldn't know. You should try one. They are fresh olive.
Are they're good?
Yeah, fantastic.
They're
Fresh.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
If I had one fruit for the rest of my life, it would be an olive.
Olive oil.
Delicious, huh?
Try. No?
What are you doing, mate?
If you don't cure the olive, they taste horrible.
Ah! Ah! I need some water.
I told you.
I've been sucker punched. Oh my God. Oh. Let's go make some oil. Ugh. You can tell a good bottle of olive oil by how much acid it has. Extra virgin olive oil will always have an acid content of less than 1%, and the best oils have less than half of that. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. Sir, this is the freshest olive oil in the world.
Buonissimo.
Bravissimo. Oh my God. may be essential to Italian cuisine, but my next destination of Emilia-Romagna favors butter. Bologna, the region's largest city, is considered by many to be Italy's gastronomic capital. Bologna, delicatessen capital of the world. Prosciutto, capricola, mortadella, salami. One step in the city and you realize why other Italians call it the Fat. Bologna is known as the Fat, not only because the locals love rich foods, but also because of their luxurious lifestyles. Even some of the vegetables in Bologna are a cut above the rest. This is a tartufo bianco, or a white truffle. And it's actually a little subterranean fungus. It's like a little mushroom, and it's one of the most expensive food ingredients in the world. In New York City, this goes for about $80 to $100 for this little small nugget. But here at this food stand, it's only about $25, but I think they're a little nervous about me holding it, so I better give it back. They actually lock these up in a safe. Excuse. Fresh pasta's deepest roots also lie in Bologna, and a few very famous dishes were invented here, including tagliatelle, lasagna, and this, tortellini, which is otherwise known as Venus's navel. I'm here in the Chamber of Commerce in the heart of Bologna to prove a point. Bolognans are crazy about pasta, and it's so serious they even have this to measure by, the golden tagliatelle. Now, this tagliatelle is 8 millimeters wide, and that is the measure of standard. Any tagliatelle that's any wider than that or smaller than that, it's not tagliatelle, and they'll send it back. If you walk around Bologna and you ask anyone where to get the best pasta, they'll send you to one place, La Sfogligne, and they'll send you to one person, Monica Venture, and she makes the best pasta in the entire city. So much so, she even won the coveted Golden Tortellini Award last year. What Monica's going to make for us today is a dish called pastatelle. It's a very traditional dish here in Bologna. Pastatelle is an Italian dumpling made with breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, nutmeg, and fresh eggs. Okay, so we got some really good eggs. Now look at, first, I want to see if I can show you, are you going to use all of these eggs for the recipe?
No, only 2.
Only 2, so real fast. I just want to show you this because I think when you come to northern Italy, especially Tuscany, and the reason the pasta is so beautiful because the eggs are so rich.
Yeah.
Take a look at this yolk, if you can. That is the most yellow yolk I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at that. It's almost orange. It's incredible. And that is the secret of really good pasta. Mix the eggs into a mixture until it forms a firm but soft consistency.
The taste has to be the Parmesan, not the bread.
Not the bread, right,
Yeah,
right.
this is perfect.
Okay, now this
With
is
your help.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Guys, take a look at this. It's important actually. But it's not hard like a rock, but it's not really mushy either. It's somewhere in between. All right, squeeze this down like this. The mixture is then put into a pastatelle press. Okay, this is the cool part. It's kind of like Play-Doh when you're a kid, you know? All right, and the pastatelle. These little like worm-like guys come out of the extractor and they fall into the bowl and they also seem to clip off the same length. Oh. And it makes these little ribbon, these little threads. And you make these little noodles.
Okay.
Little dumplings.
Do like this.
Right.
Very simple.
And so so you poach them, right?
Yeah.
All right. And this is
a chicken broth.
If you haven't made fresh chicken stock, then prepared broth from the supermarket will do. All right, while Monica's cooking the pastatelle, let's talk about what we're going to serve it with. Now, traditionally, in Bologna, they really don't use that much olive oil. It's mostly butter, right?
Yeah,
really,
we prefer butter.
Really fresh, very rich butter. So we have a tomato sauce, right, it's very simplistic. It's just tomatoes, butter, salt, pepper, and a little bit of sugar to balance out the acidity, right? To make it nice and sweet. Okay, so all right, so we've got this beautiful sauce here, and the pastatelle is cooking. All right, so these things cook up pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
How long do they take?
Oh, a few seconds, I think.
Seconds.
They come up, and then you have to take them off.
So this is a really quick dish, right?
Yeah.
And you can smell the chicken broth.
It's fantastic.
It smells very good. Give it a good shake. All right, and these look really
And then you
very
put
cool.
them
right.
here. Okay.
I'm dying to give one of these a taste. It smells amazing. That's incredible. You know, you get the richness from the egg yolk and the sharpness from the Parmesan cheese. And it's really tasty. It's very nice.
Okay. Right now you have to taste it with the sauce.
Okay. That's absolutely
This is
beautiful.
For you, some
Very nice.
basil. It's
Maybe a
very
little,
important.
little bit of fresh basil on top.
Yeah.
Give a little color. Another little taste sensation there. So you just add a little tomato sauce to it, give it a good stir. Maybe a little fresh cheese, or no? Mm-hmm. It's good?
This is
Bravissima.
for you.
Oh, thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. Look at that, that's incredible. I mean, just very, very simplistic, you know? Incredible. Monica, that is fabulous. With 22 miles of food arcades, Bologna is a gourmet's paradise. I'm leaving soon, but I've got just enough time to check out the famous Tamburini delicatessen. Bologna is deli capital of the world. Basically, anything you've had in any other deli around the world originated here in this region. They have so many different dried meats. They have sausages and prosciutto di Parma, and they have salamis, and they have the sopressata. And actually, well, this is actually really a beautiful piece. Salami Felino, which is the classic salami from Bologna. May I try a small little piece of this?
Yes.
Salami Felino.
Ok, va bene, signore.
He told me a very funny story that people come in here like travelers and they'll try the salami felino. They think felino means feline, which is salami of the cat, but no gatto, right?
Ah, no, gatto.
That would be salami gatto.
Salami,
But
vero porco.
this is made out of fresh pork, but it's dried. That's incredible flavor. Peppery, really, really fatty, very rich. And then there's this is funny guy right here, which is called a salami coglione di mulo, which is actually, it's a salami made out of pork, but it's in the fashion of a mule's private parts. I'll let you figure that one out by yourself, but that's really funny. You guys are funny the way you name your salamis. It's nice. Very funny. Then there's
Questo culatello.
culatello.
Questo è il re del culatelli.
Okay, now the culatello is it's just from a certain portion of the prosciutto, the ham itself. It's the choice piece. So it's very expensive, and it takes 2 years to season and dry this thing. It's the best, right? Yeah, he was showing me this piece right here, right? Now this is a whole culatello, right? It's a whole certain portion of the prosciutto di Parma itself. And they'll season it, and they'll hang it up for 2 years. And actually this thing was full. It was fat in this rope when they hung it. But after 2 years, it starts to shrink and condense itself and lose its moisture, but it's really, really rich. There's the coppa ham, which is really good.
Questa coppa di Parma.
Grazie, grazie. This is really beautiful stuff. And people in this part of the world have spent a lifetime figuring out how to hang and dry meat. It's stunning. That's phenomenal. And you can't forget the king of cheese from this area, which is Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm driving out of Bologna on my way to Reggio Emilia to find out what this Parmesan cheese thing is all about. The closer you get, you can almost smell it in the air. Here, now, Georgia's going to walk me through the whole process on how to make Parmigiano Reggiano.
Of the consortium.
This
Abbiamo
is-
studiato consortium of Parmigiano Reggiano.
The head man right here. Show me how to do this. Parmigiano Reggiano, or as it's more commonly known, Parmesan cheese, has been around for 700 years. Although methods of making it have changed little since then, there is a thoroughly modern addition to this age-old practice, a robot that cleans the cheese. At around $300 a wheel, the cheese is considered valuable enough to store in bank vaults. In fact, in the past, it's had such a high currency that locals have even used it as a deposit on a house. My God. Spaghetti alla bolognese, risotto con funghi,
Tortellini.
tortellini. Oh my God. That is, That's
Tastes good.
It tastes very good. You know, they keep the best cheese in this area for themselves. You really can't get this anywhere else. Phenomenal. I'm now traveling back through Tuscany to the heart of Chianti, and just in time to celebrate another Tuscan favorite, meat. The Butchers Festival in Panzano celebrates St. Tommaso Ballacci, the patron saint of butchers. Here, butchers from all over Italy gather together to cook up one huge free feast. Here at the Butcher Festival, it's one of the prized pieces. It's called Lardo di Brescia. It's basically just a big slab of lard, but it's cured. It's cured with pepper and bay leaf and cinnamon and nutmeg. When you slice it paper thin, you eat it with bread. It's very, very good. Excuse. Prego. Un panna, por favor. Grazie, grazie. You slice it paper thin, right? Right. Amazing. Really, really good. Delicious. And this right here, lingua, which is basically tongue, with a little bit of salsa verde on top. It's really nice also. Delicious. And check this out. I couldn't miss this stand. This is actually like London broil, and it's grilled, but it's a really, really beautiful part of the cow. What they're doing here is they're grilling it, and they're dipping it in a mixture of extra virgin olive oil, black pepper, salt, and lemon juice. It's really good. It's really, really fresh beef. It's nice. It's like butter. Oh, excuse me. Now, this is actually really, really interesting. This is sort of like a Tuscan head cheese. It's called Biroldo. And basically, it's a bit of tongue, a little bit of brain, a bit of cingale, which is the jowl. First time ever. Brains, tongue, and jowls all mixed together. Nice little. That tastes like a salami thing. Right. Grazie. Right, so, what's in this ingredients?
Meat, red meat, carne rossa,
Red meat. Right.
carne rossa,
Yeah, friendly. Okay.
sale,
Salt.
salt, prezzemolo,
Parsley.
parsley,
Right.
ecco,
Right.
olio,
Oil. Oil. Right. What is it?
aromi naturali.
Aromi tamale. What is that?
Where is?
Romeo.
Aromi?
Right.
When? What is aromi?
Aromi. Herbs, right? Herbs.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I've just left the Butcher's Festival, and on my way, I've adopted some fairly unruly Italians who have willingly accepted my food in payment for using their kitchen. We're gonna make some braised rabbit. Sounds delicious, right? Then we're gonna make caramelized radicchio with a little salsa verde. It's gonna be fantastic. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these little pieces of rabbit, and they're cut about the size of a chicken thigh. I'm gonna dredge them in the seasoned flour mix to make sure I get them well coated, and they taste good. All right, and this flour right here, all right, has a little bit of fresh thyme, a little bit of dried oregano, and a fair amount of salt and pepper, because I want to give it some flavor. If you like chicken better than you like rabbit, chicken also works really, really well for this particular dish. Rabbit is a very popular dish in Tuscany, and after a day of eating red meat, it's a welcomed alternative. So now I could just chuck this rabbit in some hot oil and saute it, but you're not really maximizing your taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of different levels here. I'm going to add a couple of chilies for a little bit of heat, because I love that. And then I'm going to snip a little wild rosemary here. One thing about Tuscany, there's all these little herbs you think they're so fancy, they cost about $3 for a tiny little box. This stuff goes wild on the side of the road, and it's amazing because it completely perfumes the whole air. Fresh rosemary is incredible. The base flavor for the rabbit will be garlic, rosemary, and chili. All right, what do I want to do? All right, I'm going to take the majority of this stuff out for the time being, because I just want to infuse my flavor with my oil. Okay. All right, now it's time for the rabbit. I could probably get maybe 6 pieces of rabbit in here at a time, so we'll probably do this maybe 3 or 4 times. To turn it golden brown, cook the rabbit for around 7 to 10 minutes on each side. When we've got all the rabbit pieces nice and brown, all right, the next thing I'm going to do is start to pile them up in the same pot. But again, I'm going to start layering my flavors down. All right, just like that. And put my second layer of rabbit right on top of that. So the flavors are sort of sandwiched in between the two. All right, chuck the whole thing in like that. I'm going to take a few more whole giant pieces of garlic, just like that. All right, then go right on top. All right, go back to my wild rosemary bush. All right, clip off a couple pieces here. Strip a few leaves all the way through. All right, so that rosemary flavor really penetrates the rabbit once we start to braise it. Then some black olives. I'm just going to add a nice little salty bite. All right, a nice little bottle of white wine. Thankfully, wine is never hard to come by in Tuscany, so throw a whole bottle in. And then some chicken stock. The rabbit is now ready to braise. Now, what I mean by braise, it's not really a tricky sort of term. It just means to cook in a small amount of liquid in the oven. half an hour. All right, that's gonna be spectacular. It smells fantastico. Next, it's caramelized radicchio. We get a big, fat, flat saute pan. All right, it's gonna go on the fire. A little bit of olive oil. All right, I'm gonna cook this slow. It's gonna take about 10 minutes or so to start to really caramelize into the oil. And you start to sizzle. All right. Radicchio is a form of chicory. All right, while the radicchio is cooking, let's talk about what I'm gonna serve this with. Now, throughout Tuscany, they have this little accompaniment, this little condiment. It's called salsa verde, and basically it's like an American pesto, but the difference here is it's parsley, not basil. All right, and the recipe is really, really simple. It's parsley, caper, anchovy, lemon juice, and a lot of olive oil. And it's very simple. You just chuck everything into a blender, pulse it down a couple times, and you get this beautiful, beautiful thick puree. It's gorgeous. Look at that. And that's it. Braised rabbit and caramelized radicchio, Tuscan style. Now I just hope they enjoy it. For a country that exports its food all around the world, dining in Italy is a surprisingly different experience. Eating well here isn't the preserve of the rich, the best is available for everybody. To sit at dinner with Italians is to truly understand what passion is all about. What an amazing way to end my trip in Italy, my last night in Tuscany. And from the delicatessens of Bologna to the beautiful Brunello wine of Montalcino to my new Italian friends actually liking my Italian food. This has been an incredible trip. And guys, what an unbelievable way to say goodbye, huh? Ciao, grazie, grazie, prego, grazie. Wow, what an unbelievable trip to Italy. I just can't believe it's over. I'm sitting here reeling in the whole thing. I mean, a couple things off the top of my head that really stick out. I mean, what about watching olive oil from the tree to the bottle? I mean, it's such a fascinating process. And then Lorenzo sucker punching me with that fresh olive. I'll never do that again. And what about the fresh Parmesan cheese and Parmigiano Reggiano and Emilia Romagna? It was unbelievable. I mean, to watch those big wheels get cracked open like that, it's so fascinating. And then we can't forget the Brunello wine, Montalcino, and that $50,000 bottle of wine I held in my hand. God, I thought I was gonna break the thing. So I'm just sitting here waiting for my cab. I got a couple minutes to kill, and I'm just gonna try to figure out how to get all this wine back to customs. I think I overdid it a little bit.